Now, the president just recently spoke about an emergency in training capacity of our security institutions. Now, the question is, why did this take us this long, and does it have to be an emergency before we realize that, especially the police, need this upscale in its training capacity? And such training, what specific gaps do we expect that it will fill in this intention of Mr. President?
Thank you very much. We have to actually commend Mr. President for this bold initiative. And thank you for mentioning that. Why has it been so long? I think personally we have to always discuss leadership and the executive will. So it depends on the person at the helm of affairs. We actually now do have a president that knows exactly what the issues are when it comes to security. We have gone from a place whereby we are dealing with security issues with a more kinetic way. And if we look at it, it is more about internal security problems that we have that we are facing in Nigeria. And the agencies that are charged for this, or specifically, it's the police. Now, if you look at it over the years, we've had neglect for the Nigerian police force. That's what it is. I'm a product of the police home. So I would categorically tell you that over 40 years ago, the type of trainings and the type of infrastructure and the type of capacity building that was done for the police officers in those years, over the years, there's been a steady decline and depreciation into that. And it is the only way we could move forward in this country, and there's no way you have to tie security to development. And our security problems, as we mentioned earlier, is internal security. The agency charged for that is the police force. But we've had leadership over the years that have not concentrated the focus on the particular agency that is charged for our internal security, which is the Nigerian police force. Now, going into the capacity building of the officers, the first place you're going to start from is the training institutions. So you come out from school or wherever it is, you get recruited into the police force. You go into the training facilities. It's charity begins at home. Just like a child that is born, the first place he leaves after his home peer group is to school, is for his training. So you look at that with the Nigerian police force. But you see that over the years, the training facilities, training curriculums, they have not changed. So there's been a steady neglect on that one aspect. So to me, I always say like that abandoned stepchild of Nigeria that we have not dealt with, and that's the Nigerian police force. And the president has seen that there is no way we would be able to move forward with our security challenges without us focusing on that primary agency and those agencies. And the major thing we're looking at is training, is capacity building. How do you build the officers to be able to protect and serve and to be able to help guide our laws?
Mr. Sheidu, the neglect that you speak of, we're beginning to see that change with the police force, and that is because the Council of State has approved an upward review of the police trust fund and location from 0.5% to 1%. That is from the Federation account. How transformative is this move to the institution? It
is a very major one, and I will constantly say we would commend Mr. President and the Police Council for actually seeing the major issue, as we said, is a depreciation, a neglect. And when it comes to the neglect, it comes to funding and resources. Those resources and funding have not been allocated to that specific organization. And when I say, except from even just the training, the welfare of the police officers. So all of those things are the things that the Police Trust Fund was set up for originally. It is to cater to the police force for training, buying of equipment, to just make sure that our police officers perform better their jobs. And for you to be able to do that and achieve that, you need resources, you need financing. So it is definitely a very major milestone, and it is something that they had sat down and looked at and said, for us to be able to achieve all of these reforms and changes that we need to, first of all, in-house, let us increase this, let us have more funding for us to be able to achieve what we have to achieve as the Nigerian Police Trust Fund.
What are these criteria you put in place? Now we talk about an upscale from 0.05% to 1%. And I think also we do have the 0.005% from companies.
Yes.
Now, has this money been consistent? Even the 0.05 before it was reviewed, has it been consistent so far? And if it has been, what criteria do you use in deploying this resource? Because if you deploy resource to an institution that the welfare is almost zero, so if the money comes in, it might not be judiciously used. So what criteria do you put in place when you're deploying this resource that you have into those institutions?
First of all, you mentioned about the consistency of the fund.
Yeah.
If you know the history of the Police Trust Fund is that I think in 2022, Rivers State, then under His Excellency Wike, they took the trust fund to court and they actually won the case, which actually stopped us receiving those FAC allocation funds. But the 0.05% net profits of companies operating in Nigeria, we were receiving, but that was after the tax law was reviewed also, whereby FIRS now started gathering its monies for us. Now, when it comes to the deployment of the resources and the funds, is we work directly with the Office of the Inspector General of Police and the police itself. Now, there's a needs assessment that is also carried out by the police and us around. And we we tailor our needs, or we tailor the work that we're doing towards the actual needs that come from the Nigerian police force. So whatever they feel are critical assets or critical things that need to be purchased or trainings that need to be handled, those things we collate, we sit down together, we try to make sure that we harmonize, and we try to deploy based on the needs assessment from the Nigerian police force.